is going on? What is going on?
Michael is sick, and he wants one of us to rescue him.
I'm coming, Michael! I'm gonna save you! Michael is in trouble! Okay? Hold on, Michael! I am coming! Wait there!
Michael, why don't you call your girlfriend?
Oh, that would be quite unfortunate, wouldn't it be? Although what I just attempted to show you really should not happen to most humans, although it does happen to some, it has been a common problem in the ocean with much of the marine life. This is because of the high amounts of garbage humans dump in the water. The United States alone represents about 4.4% of the world's population. However, somehow we managed to generate over 30% of the world's trash at a whopping 250 million tons of trash every year. Each individual averages about 4 pounds a day. Well, why is this? How on earth, no pun intended, do we manage to generate so much waste? Well, there's this magical bucket that we can toss almost anything into that we don't need or want anymore. Once a week, this bucket is brought to the edge of the curb, taken away, and never seen again. We think it disappears forever. However, now it has begun to come back and haunt us. Let me take a step back. What actually happens to all of this waste we throw out on our curb weekly? Well, it is thrown into a truck and transported to a nearby landfill. Although an eyesore, landfills are useful because they keep all of the trash in one spot. It's better than encountering it daily all over the streets, am I right? So, why do environmentalists think landfills are a problem? Well, one concern associated with landfills is the development of this liquid called leachate. Leachate forms as water flows through the waste as the waste is breaking down. As you can imagine, this liquid is highly toxic, and it destroys many habitats, which kills tons of plants and animals. Leachate also enters our waterways and pollutes groundwater, and we drink this groundwater. Along with leachate, landfills release greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are responsible for trapping heat in the atmosphere. As organic material, such as food remnants or wood, decomposes deep under piles and piles of trash without any access to oxygen, this material releases a gas called methane. This is bad because methane absorbs the sun's heat, which in turn contributes to global warming. This last concern ties in with the fact that nobody wants a landfill in their community. And this is completely understandable. I mean, think about it. Who wants to wake up to the smell of garbage every day and risk toxins entering their public water systems? This resistance is known as NIMBY, or not in my backyard. But the problem is, if nobody wants a landfill near them, they have no other place to go. I mean, it costs a lot of money to transport waste across states or overseas. Many of the landfills within states are reaching their maximum capacity, which makes so much sense given the fact that we generate 254 million tons of waste every year and only have 2,000 landfills around the country. As a result, many landfills are closing. According to the National Waste and Recycling Association, the United States only has 20 more years left of disposable capacity. It's really terrifying to think about what will happen in 20 years when we don't have anywhere to put all the trash. Looking at the situation on a more local level, I took a trip out to the Lanchester landfill, about 30 minutes away from Westchester. It was pouring, and I was really hungry for Amish food, so I didn't stay for long. This landfill is responsible for trash from 49 communities in the Chester County of Pennsylvania. It has reached its permitted capacity 3 times over the past 25 years, and every time it gets permits to expand because it's the closest and it offers the lowest prices. However, it can't keep expanding forever, so it has to close eventually. So I guess the next question is, how can we, as citizens of this planet, try to delay our impending doom? Well, one way would be to recycle. Everyone always hears how important it is to recycle, but nobody ever really talks about it in the context of this landfill crisis. 75% of our waste is recyclable, but we only end up actually recycling about 30% of it. And a lot of the time, the things we think we recycled aren't actually being recycled. So, how can we bring up these numbers? Well, for one, we can make recycling more economical. Take paper, for example. If we recycle more paper, more businesses will be inclined to use the recycled paper. And the same thing goes for organic waste. Keeping your own compost bin could save you money every spring when it comes time to buy mulch for your garden. Recycling would also be more economical if we improved the quality of what we recycle. Let me tell you a quick story. So, one time I was in history class eating a banana. And to be honest, bananas kind of scare me, especially if they're a little old and squishy. So, when I finished the banana, I was left burdened with the peel. Wanting to get that banana peel as quickly as possible out of my sight, I stood up, looked around the room to make sure nobody was watching, prayed the recycling gods wouldn't curse me, and chucked it into the closest bin I could find, the recycling bin. I know we've all done it, although maybe for you it wasn't a banana peel. Maybe it was a chewed piece of gum, a plastic bag, or a partially eaten peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But we've all done it. Well, when we throw material into the recycling bin, this material is transported to a facility where people are hired to sort through it. Seems like a fun and simple job, right? Well, when people recycle non recyclable material, these people have to take time out of their day and deal with it. And the same goes for dirty containers. They just throw it away because they really don't want to waste more time trying to clean it. Also, if they were to miss something and allow it to be processed, the quality of the new items manufactured would be very poor. Today, I was bored in class, per usual, and decided to venture out to our current recycling bins to take my mind off the fact that I will be squashed by 5 quarterlies in the next couple of days. As you can see in the pictures, there are numerous non recyclable items such as chip packs, tissues, and gum wrappers. It's promising that these bins are even being used, however, we really need to start using them correctly. So, I guess the next question is what actually can be recycled? Obviously, many of these are very self explanatory, so I'm just going to make a couple helpful comments for future recycling if you're as concerned about this as I. First off, please note that for plastic, numbers 1 through 7 are accepted in the recycling bin. You can find this number usually at the bottom of the piece of plastic you're considering recycling, and the number should be inside a triangle that is comprised of arrows. Second of all, don't recycle gum wrappers, gum, heat-resistant glass, grocery bags, or tissues. These were all of the main things I found while I was looking through a couple of the recycling bins today. If you are about to recycle something that has food in it, like a soup can, you really need to clean it out, or else those people sorting through the recyclables will just throw it away. Everything has to be clean. I get it, it's such an inconvenience, but just do it. You'll thank me in 20 years. In America, the US throws away about $11.4 billion annually of recyclables. This could build almost 3 of Donald Trump's walls. Now, I'm going to take a second and talk about plastic. Before people discovered the importance of protecting oceans, they would dump garbage off the coast. This sometimes backfired and ended up on the beach, but most of it ends up floating around in the ocean. Right now, there are 25 trillion pieces of plastic debris floating around in the ocean. A big bunch of them accumulated in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. This patch is about 2 times the size of Texas. The fact that literally everything is made out of plastic does not help the situation at all. I mean, you walk into a Wegmans and there's not one thing that doesn't contain plastic. Because you can't recycle every plastic manufactured, I guess the next question is what else can you do to help prevent our country from being piled under tons of garbage? It's simple. Just reduce your consumption. These are just a few of the many examples of things you can do. Personally, I don't use plastic bags to package my lunch. I don't use disposable water bottles, and I don't use the paper towels in the school bathroom. But to be honest, for that last one, it's sometimes kind of unfortunate when you have to come back to class with your shirt wet, but whatever. And I try to buy items at Wegmans that are packaged in recyclable containers. I know this seems like a bit of a hassle, but think about it. If we take the time and effort to take care of this planet, we save billions of dollars, countless life forms, and honestly, we look like a lot less of an embarrassment to our world power counterparts. From this video, I want you to take away three main things. 1. We are reaching our landfill capacity. 2. We must recycle correctly and economically. And 3. We should probably consider reducing our consumption to help improve this problem. I honestly learned a lot from researching this and talking to people. I decided to share my findings because I know these little facts have prompted me to take an interest in reducing my footprint, and I'm really hoping this video that broadly covers this topic reminds you that you should try to do the same.